Hi, everybody, and thank you for coming, and particularly thank you to those of you who came from out of town. It's amazing. Wow. Okay, so let me just say about the newsletter that, yes, I format it and I create it every month, but I don't write it. You do. I get my information from you all of the members send me items, articles, information. Margie sends me guest speaker info, and I put it in and format it. I choose images. So I don't see this newsletter as, excuse me, a little frog, as mine. I see it as ours, and that's how I handle it. Okay, so brief background of me. I started writing the newsletter when I was a member of the National Association of the Remodeling Industry. I helped my husband run his general contracting company, marketing only and admin, no tools. So I became a member of the board of NARI. NARI, this is a loose organization of general contractors who never sent me a single thing. They just didn't write. But I did, so I wrote a newsletter. I wrote the whole thing, 4 to 6 pages or so, and would send it out in paper. And I managed to convince everyone to get it on electronic. That's how I discovered ConstantContact.com, which is what we're going to be covering. I'm going to give you an overview. It's not like you're going to be perfect at it. I'm not perfect at it. But you'll get an overview of how it works. And this will be a twofer for me because I will not only be teaching you and sharing with you in my presentation, but I will also be starting the March Dispatch. Yay! So, which I usually start about now, the 20th, 21st of the month is when I begin it. Okay, so I also continued writing newsletters for my husband's company, On the Beam Remodeling, and putting in images as well. So I've done a whole lot of newsletter writing and formatting. And I've worked with Constant Contact over the years. It has changed. There was a learning curve for me. Okay, so let's see. But I do not send my newsletter out, and I have a personal newsletter that I send out to promote my book. I do not send it out on Constant Contact because I'm using Constant Contact for the Gold Country writers, and I don't want to confuse them up. So I send an email, and I'll show you that as well. I'll be showing you examples. We are going to be going a little bit backwards on this. I'm going to be teaching you. First, we're going to do an overview of Constant Contact and some of the ways you can use it, how you can start your template. And then we're going to be going into showing you examples of, I get e-newsletters from other authors, so we're going to take a look at those. I'm going to get your opinions. Then we're going to talk about why. Well, why write a newsletter? What's the purpose? And we're going to talk about building your email list so you have somebody to send it to, and then we're going to talk about what to put into it. All right, so let's get started real quick here. First of all, whoops, I hope I didn't lose it. Bill?
Here.
Oh, it just goes right back. Okay, so here is the website for Constant Contact. And we're going to log in together. If you scroll down, pardon my back, look up at the screen. It has a lot of information on marketing. Now, I ignore that because I am not marketing Gold Country Writers. We're a nonprofit organization. I don't feel a need to market. It's just not there for us. But as an author of a book, you might want to look into these savvy marketer just starting out. So they have lots of resources for you to look at. So now I'm going to log in. And one of the pluses about Constant Contact is very high security level for you. They do not want hackers grabbing your newsletter and making a mess out of it. So they make sure that no one else but you gets in. So here's my username, which comes up automatically, and I have to enter a password. So excuse me while I do that as fast as I can. Okay, and I have to accept and ignore the cookies and log in. Now here's the next layer. Here's the next layer of security. is going to send me a code, and I have to have it on my phone, which is why it's difficult for me to have Sarah Pressler, my wonderful newsletter proofreader. Thank goodness for her. Sarah, thank you. No, just sit down. This is why it's hard for her to actually go in and proofread and edit it herself. She can, but then she'd have to call me and we'd have to do this. Okay, so now I'm going to put in my code. I'm sure you have done this on something or other. And it is 186-416, and every time it's a different one. So, and they verify you. They make sure you're human. They make sure that they know. By the way, when I'm done with each section of what I'm going to be talking about, I will be taking questions and comments. I'm not going to wait to the end. It's not going to be an end question and answer. Okay, so here we are. We are now into our Gold Country Writers homepage. Okay, let's see. Oh, I have to work over here. All right. So what we have here is right at the top, and here's something else Constant Contact does as well. Constant Contact tells you how many subscribers you have. We have 93. That reflects our membership. How the email open rate, we're not counting that yet, but you will get a report every month, or every time you send it, you get a report on how many people of the people you sent it to opened it. You get a percentage rate, and also you will get. Never mind that. That's marketing. You will get information on how many bounced. So if you've got some bad emails, then you have to kind of work on that, and so that's very helpful as well. You will also get a click-through number. If you put a live link in your newsletter, which is a good idea, you will get an open rate, click rate on that, how many people actually clicked on that link of yours. Okay, so when we scroll down, now what we have is we have a list of the last 5 dispatches. That's the name of our newsletter for our guests. It's called the Dispatch. And the top one is February, then there's January. And I could also click on View All. You'd see all of them. I've been doing this for a year and a half. I'm not going to show you all. But I am going to show you how I create my March newsletter. I'm going to do it as we speak right here. And what I do is I take my mouse and I click on Copy. So I just clicked on Copy, and it's going to copy the February dispatch, so I don't have to make a new one every month. And that's what you will do. You will create a template. You will put your photo in it, or whatever images you want, or whatever content you want, and borders, however you want to set it up, and then you can copy it every month and just change it. Okay, but you do need to rename it. What's the name of this new one?
March Dispatch.
Yeah, uh-oh. I think I just created a February again by accident. No, I didn't. All right, somehow I disappeared, so let's try it again. Copy. There's a little time lag with mine. It's probably because my laptop is old. Your new fancy ones won't do this. So now we have the March Dispatch. And you save it. And now it's going to load it. And that will take a few seconds, not minutes, just a few seconds, but it's slow. Probably because there's a lot of content in there, a lot of images, so it takes a little while. And there it is. So what's the first thing I'm going to do?
Change February to March.
Yeah, my proofreader. So smart. Yeah, that's the first thing, and that's what you want to do too if you have a date that is very embarrassing to send a March and it says February. You don't want to do that. So go in there, and you just use it. It works like a Word document. You just go in and delete and type. All right, great. So we're set there. The logo always stays the same, so I don't have to redo that. That's always there. Then we come down to this. This is always going to be the same unless there's a change to a mailing address or something like that. And then I have the fun job, I love doing this, of picking out an image. And I'm going to show you how to load an image on, because that's important. If you're going to send a newsletter out and attract readers, you want some images. You want something bright and attractive besides text is a good idea. One thing, the image that I use is my book cover, and that's a good idea for you all to use your book cover to brand you. But we're not branding here, so here's the February, President's Day month. So all you have to do is click right on the image with your mouse. And then you move up here. Does everyone see this? Replace? Okay. And you replace it. Now here's where it gets a little bit complicated. What you're looking at here is, you're looking at my library. These are all the photos that I have ever put in any of the year and a half of newsletters. And I learned the hard way some years ago, not here, that if you delete any of these, they are deleted from the newsletter itself. You'll just have a blank square. So I keep them. Okay, so you have options here. One you can create in some app called Canvas or some app in Constant Contact. I don't have time to create images. Sorry, you probably don't either. You can go to the stock image gallery. So they have some for you there. They're categorized for holidays, build architecture, animals, etc., just like emojis. And you can look through them. Now there are some that you have to pay for and some that are free. And of course, we're not paying for images with this nonprofit organization. I always look at the free ones. You could also, alternatively, upload an image from your own computer. And that's how you get your book cover on to your newsletter. You need to have the book cover, a screenshot of it you can put in, a PDF file, something like that on your hard drive of your computer, and then you go to that and put it in here. And I'll show you, first I'm going to show you the stock image gallery. Here it is. Lots of pictures.
Wow.
Yeah. But you have to choose something. Search all. You got to be careful. Sometimes I put something in there and it comes out, sorry, nothing. For March, I'm thinking St. Patrick's Day, because it kind of sets the tone for March. I mean, I could opt out of that. I could do an animal. I don't think anyone would be upset.
Can you find one of him reading a book?
Of St. Patrick reading a book?
Yes.
An animal reading.
Yeah, I have a book in one hand and a green beer in the other. Yeah, I don't know. But we'll just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on holidays, and then it takes me to this page, but do not be alarmed. And you get here and it says, there are no images. Oh my God. Don't worry, there are. You have to go up here. You have the pro images and the free images. So unless you have money to spare and love to spend, click on the free images. So these are all the holidays now. This is Thanksgiving and Christmas, everything. But I'm thinking that what I want to find is a shamrock. You know, it's kind of a cross between, it's a plant, it's a holiday. I'll do it. So I'm going to type in shamrock. In case you don't know, that's a four-leaf clover. And search. And here we go. So we have 3 free ones. If on the pro pay one, you're going to get like 20 of these fantastic images, but that's okay, we can make do. So I can pick from these 3, and I think I will, I don't know, I'll pick the lucky hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
Should I take a vote? We don't have time. I have a lot to play. This is tough. You're stuck with the hat. Oh, you have to click on free. And then they ask you to agree that you're not going to sell this or use it for commercial things. And yes, I agree. All right. And we are done. And then the image doesn't go directly to that picture of Abraham Lincoln. It goes to your library, gets set in there. In the library, you can edit it. You can insert, you can edit it. I'm not going to go into that, but you can edit it. Sometimes, once in a while, I get an image that's upside down. And so you can rotate it. So I'm going to insert it now. Oh, snap. There you go.
Happy birthday.
Yes. And of course, I should change the caption, shouldn't I? All right. So I will ask everybody, yell at the same time so I can hear. No, raise your hands if you have a good caption for me, for the newsletter.
Everybody's a little Irish.
Oh, I love it. Thank you.
Except for those of us that are
Those Irish got around.
Okay. Do you think it warrants an exclamation point?
Yes. Absolutely. Such a big.
So
We'll do that. Okay.
Deserves quotation marks
So
around
then you
Irish.
click, so there. So, okay, I'm done with that. Then now the next thing, I'm not gonna go through the whole newsletter crazy making. It would take us the hours that it takes me to do it, which is 10 to 12 per month. So here is the president's message, Susan's message. Susan Corner, our president. And what I do is I simply delete, just like you would in Word, everything but the Susan, because that's gonna stay. Delete. And then, so there it is. Then when Susan sends me an email with her president's message, I will go over here to my email. So now we're on my email, and we're in a special place in my email. We're in a folder or label, Google calls it, which is the Gold Country Writers Newsletter. So I create a label. Does everyone know how to create a label?
No.
Really? Okay.
easy peasy.
It's pretty easy. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that right now because time factor. However, you do create a label, you name it. I named it this. So when all of you send me stuff for the March newsletter in February, I move it here. And so that it's all together in one spot. I'm not looking all over my inbox for it. So then when I'm ready to do the newsletter, I go right here, and that's what you can do. The same with you. If you have people who are sending you stuff that you want to put in your newsletter, you can create a label that says, for my newsletter, and put it there and go to that every month or whenever. So let's just say that we want to put Betsy's. This is just an example. I'm going to delete it. We're going to do a kudos to Betsy. Good going, Betsy. However, and I put it in the kudos, however, just for today's purpose, I'm going to copy and paste it into the newsletter. So I just want to show you how that goes. You highlight it, just like for a Word document. You right-click, and you click on choose copy. You go back up here to the top, get your constant contact back, right-click again, and paste. Boom, there it is. So that, you're watching what I do a lot of. I do hours of this. And then I edit it. And then Sarah proofreads it. So that's the process, but I don't want that. Now if I click in the middle here, I can delete the entire section, but I don't want to. I just want to delete the text. So I'm going to highlight it and press delete on my computer. And let's continue to delete. I can do that later. All right, so those are the two things that I wanted to show you for Constant Contact. Let's see, is there anything else? Okay, it costs $11.40 a month. It may have gone up again to $12. Also on the home page, let me go back to the home page. You go back to the home page, there's a tutorial. You don't need me. Just go run the tutorial. Yeah, I know, tutorials have their limits, but they're very helpful. So if you go down to the bottom, look at this. You have a welcome, get started with a wide video tutorial that will run you through the basics. Add contacts, shows you how to add your contacts, create an email, attend a free webinar. They have those. I used to go in person. They had big ones in San Francisco. I went to those now and then to learn about it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to add I'm going to show our contacts. So up here at the top are your contacts. This is important. You've got to have someone to send it to. And we're going to go to all contacts, and that will give me, and you, the list of everyone who gets this dispatch. I have their first name, their last name, their email address, their email status. That's important. If something bounces, you're going, what? It can say unsubscribed. Source added by you and the date. Not that important. You can edit these. You can delete them. If you click on these three little buttons on the side, three little buttons on the side. No, it's not. Okay. There it is.
Yeah.
View, edit, add to list, unsubscribe email, or delete. So you have your options there. So to add a contact, very simple, user-friendly. Add contact. You just click on that. You create a new contact. You put the email address and continue. Then it'll ask for the name and address. I don't put the physical address. I'm not mailing these to you guys, so I don't need the address. Membership needs the address, but I don't. So I don't put that in. I put the first and last name, and then I'm going to cancel it. And let me just point out also that these are organized. I myself, having been an admin person for many years, would not do this. Constant Contact alphabetizes this, sorts it by the email address. So if you have someone's name and not their email address, then you have to look all over for their name up and down. But you see it's A, B, C, D. This way, it ain't happening on this side. Yeah, there was a little learning curve there for me. I was looking all over the place.
Somebody's sitting on this.
Okay. All right, I think that I have covered just about everything for this section. No, we're going to create our own. I'm going to go home. This is going to be important for you. That was important for me because I got started on the march. Yes. And we're going to create, up here where it says create, an email. All these other things are just marketing stuff. All you want is you want to create an email. And that's going to be your newsletter. You click on that. And what you get, you're going to see a load of templates. Find your template. It's still loading. Here we go. So you can start from scratch with just a blank template. It'll just be like a rectangle you fill in. Use your own HTML, import all that fancy stuff, forget it. And then you have all these other templates that you can use. Here you go, Betsy. Here's Advent card.
I was looking.
Yeah, admin. You've got calendar. You've got lots of. You got. Well, they're loading up slowly, but here they are. Back to school. Lots of stuff. What I recommend for all of us, if we're going to use Constant Contact, is the author's newsletter. Here's the author's note, right here. Author's newsletter. Author's note. Use that. For the Go Country writers, I used the Start from Scratch. I didn't like any of the templates for what I needed. I just started from scratch and just created my own borders and stuff like that. But for author's note, here's an image that you can replace. Now you know how to replace images. You can replace it with your own, and you can fill in your own information, and you can continue. You can continue down, adding blocks, and I don't have time to show you borders and spacers and all of that. I'd love to, but we have other stuff to go over. So that would be a good one for you. Or you can just start your own from scratch. So that's how you create it. And I think that might be all I want to say here. Yeah, that's it. Does anyone have any questions? Let's keep it brief, though, because I have a lot to go over.
Regarding your
Kelly.
email,
Yes.
you went from there into Gmail.
Yeah.
And I think only Gmail does the labeling that you were talking about. I don't think Yahoo and,
Yeah, they do.
but
Yes,
it's
they-
not called labeling.
No, it's not called a label.
Okay, so I thought that should be,
What is it called, a folder?
yeah, okay, just so
It's just-
people would
I thought
know.
it
But did you
sounded-
have to have your email box open when you went into Constant Contact, so it would automatically go there? Or you're just talking about two separate functions?
Two separate windows are open. Yeah,
That's what I thought.
two separate ones, and I just simply go back and forth.
Okay.
I gotta say, this looks to me just like Print Shop Deluxe with the publication feature at the end. So if you're familiar with those layouts, it's the same.
Print Shop Deluxe?
Yeah.
Print Shop Deluxe, Sarah Pressler is saying, there are other programs. You don't have to
It's
just
just a
use
graphics
Constant Contact. There are others as well. This is the one I know.
No, it's not a constant contact. It's not that. It's a graphics program.
Oh, graphics.
That's laid out exactly like this.
Oh, it looks like that. Yeah,
They're-
this is
they're
not
all really,
not-
really similar.
Not uncommon, right? Yes.
Quick question. I heard that Constant Contact has a free program for if you have under 50. Do you know if that's true?
Never heard of that,
Oh.
but sounds nice. Not for me. For people who are under 50?
Well, no, not for people, but if you have less than 50.
Fewer than 50?
Oh,
Actors.
the numbers.
That eliminates most of us. Yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't heard of that.
Okay.
Yes, anyone else?
When you're in template recreating, do you have an option each time you put new text or photographs in to save each? Because the problem that I've found with a lot of these programs, if you don't save each time, they may or may not disappear. And
As
then you
you're
have to
working-
start all over again.
As you're working along, you mean?
Yes.
Constant Contact saves as you're working along.
It automatically
Yes,
saves?
it automatically does. If I had time, which I don't, I would go back to the newsletter and show you. Up at the top, there's an undo. I love that button. And there is save. And I check that frequently as I'm typing, and then I stop. It's like count to 5 and it goes save.
Yeah.
So it continues to save. I haven't lost anything. Yes.
Great.
I have a different save question. If you stopped using that program or Constant Contact went out of business, how much do you need to save as you go along so you don't lose all the past work that you had?
I have spent a lot of time on this program without losing anything.
But if you stopped subscribing to it, or they went out of business or they got bought by somebody else, do you know what you need to do saving as you go along so that that wouldn't all just disappear?
Well, that's a good question. For the newsletter, for this dispatch, I have all of the dispatches that have been sent out in my own email. I have a label. It's actually in it's in here. So if Constant Contact were to go out of business, I would still have, let me go back. I would have all the, you see where it says me, send it to me. These are all the different, for all the different months going back. And I keep those. So I would have them backed up in my email.
Can you save them?
One more
in a
question,
PDF?
and then we gotta move on. Yes,
Can you save them in a PDF?
yes, you can. And that was something I was going to show you, but we're a little, if we have time at the end, I'll show you how to save them in a PDF. And by the way, you can print the Constant Contact newsletter out as well. It's not really designed for printout. The page divisions are random. You cut right in the middle of a photo. And you can kind of work on that if you have half a day, which I don't. So, but you can print it out. And what I do is I do create a PDF file for Mary Helen Fine to put on the website. The Gold Country Writers website has this newsletter, is on the website there. So that's another way that we would, well, no, she doesn't save them. I'm the one that saves them. Constant Contact saves them. If they go down, I've got them. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to show you some examples of newsletters that I get from my author friends. And I have those, see labels? And I have those in my e-newsletters. In my e-newsletters, I save mine, the ones I send out, and I put some of these in here too to show you. The first one I'm going to show you is Patricia Bracewell. I know her, she's a historical fiction writer. I know her from the Historical Novel Society in San Francisco Bay Area. And she writes these newsletters almost monthly. So I'm going to open it up. And here it is. The Emma of Normandy trilogy. So she is branding herself. Every time she sends a newsletter, she's got this gorgeous, I love this shade of blue. She's got this gorgeous blue. I think there's a historical reason to it. It was a royal color or something back then in the 1300s. She's got her 3 books that she's published. Their cover is right there. That's always there. So that's kind of her branding. You know what I mean by branding? So people recognize, oh, that's Patricia Bracewell. And then she writes about the period, the history of the period. And notice, now she gave a presentation. So she's writing about a presentation she gave. That's nice. Here's a photo of herself giving the presentation. And it goes on. Now she has images of artifacts from that period of time she wrote in. So she's drawing the reader into that period of time in the hopes that they will become more educated and think, maybe I should buy one of her books. It's a good approach. Here's an old bed from those periods. More artifacts and so on and so forth. Goes on and on. Here's somebody, she's bringing in an author friend of hers and her author friend's book. You can have a companion on your newsletter if you would like. Until next time, a little quote. That's sort of, she uses MailChimp. This is not Constant Contact. MailChimp is also very popular. I don't use it. I don't know how to use it. It probably has a tutorial. Question? Oh, Bill uses it. Okay, excellent. Okay, so one thing about this newsletter that I would like to criticize as a negative. Can anyone tell me what that might be?
White text,
White?
the white text.
Nah.
No.
If you can read it, I don't care. All right, take a look
My name?
at the title. Oops. Proofread your newsletter, please.
What does it say? I can't read it.
It says, oh, you can't see it? History, come on up to the front, there's 3 empty chairs. History on my mind. Mind spelled M-Y-I-N-D. Ouch. So you're a writer, do not misspell a simple word. Really take a good look on that. Okay. Does anybody else have, does anyone else have any comments about this newsletter that you would like to make? What do you think of it? What's good about it? What's bad about it? Sherry had her hand up first.
Well, I think your newsletter looks really nice with the banner across the front. It shows the Gold Rush people, it shows where we are and what we're doing. And she just kind of goes from nothing to nothing more.
Boom.
Yeah. She needs like, something like, here I am, or something.
Okay, kind of an announcement of this is the Patricia Bracewell newsletter.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so as you're listening, you can make notes. If this is something you want to adopt for your newsletter, write it down so you don't forget it. Don't forget it.
Banner at the top.
Yes, you
So
do.
there's no call to action, there's no you can buy now or no link to
Correct.
Amazon or something?
Yeah, very good point. No call to action, no request to buy my book. Bill?
If you do have a link that goes to your books where you can buy your books, I know with MailChimp, they'll automatically send out like a thank you letter and stuff like that, and I expect that you can program Constant Contact to do that too.
Yeah, yes. So this doesn't have any of that. Doesn't have a link, doesn't have the buy my book. Who else? Was someone over here? Yes.
I get lots of author emails, like newsletters that I subscribe to so I can watch them. And the ones that I enjoy the most are the ones that are informative and interesting about things that are going on, and then ask me to buy the book, as opposed to the ones that say, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, and focus only on that. And I feel like this one starts right in my face with buy my book, and if I already bought the book, then
Yeah.
there's no more reason to follow her.
Yeah. Unless you just want to know about the time period. Or maybe she has another book. But yeah, my feeling, I'm going to make a comment, then we're going to move on to the next example, is I feel it's a little bit too long. You know, I mean, you sit down, what do you get? 10, 20 emails that you have to open? You know, make it a little briefer, I would say. She could have edited this down. And all the other comments just now were quite wonderful and very accurate. There's no call to action here. Yeah. Okay, good. So now we're going back to look at Allison Luderman. Where's Allison? She brands herself with that photo of herself, cute as it can be. Allison is a poet. She's also a playwright and a writer. She's kind of dabbled, but really she's a poet at heart. She taught poetry in the Oakland school systems. She actually makes her living that way. Not many people do. And I have one of her books. I love poetry. I love her poetry. So she starts off with this photo of herself, Allison Luderman, making who she is and what she's up to. And she shows you her poet, playwright, essayist, teacher, coach. So she's right there. She's got lots of stuff to offer you. On the right, she has a narrow band here, column of upcoming workshops that she gives. She's a busy lady. And on the left, she's got dear friends and family. I just got back from a 4-hour evangelical church service, all in Spanish, in which I watched a friend get baptized fully clothed in a waist-high tub of water that appeared from behind a special little door up on the altar. It was not my first choice of how to spend a Sunday. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's very long. But I just want to point out that she takes a very personal tone. See how different it was from Patricia's? This is not like the history of the 1300s. This is very personal, and she's like that every time. I don't think she sends them out monthly. Every 2 to 3 months I get something from her. And so it's a personal, intimate tone, like drawing you into her as a person. So that's a style. You have to find your own style. This is hers. And so she continues on. Now, when she started this newsletter, it was shorter, and she's just gotten longer and longer and longer till it's just kind of ridiculous, really. It's very long. I don't read them anymore because of that. So you see, that's a lot of writing. Allison really can write a lot. It's just a little bit of a problem, wouldn't you say? In terms of readability and capturing the reader. And then, at the end, which I love, she always puts a poem she's written. And here's her poem. And it's just an incredibly long poem. Wow, they're not all long. Some of her poems are short ones, but... And then here's videos. Here's some live links. Here's a poem featured on Vox Populi. Here's a video of something that she has not explained well to me here. So that's a criticism. And she's not doing a call to action. Buy my book. I don't see that anywhere. But there is a call to action for her workshops, and she has links to those. So that's good. Let's see. So... Oh, and at the very bottom, check this out. She's got this. Has anyone ever seen this?
No. What's this?
Buy me a coffee. If you can't see in the back, it says, buy me a coffee. So I looked at it, and I went, what the heck is this? I'm going to click on it and see what happens.
Uh-oh.
Buy me a coffee. Buy Allison Luderman a coffee. I guess she needs a coffee. It actually, what this is a way for her to get donations.
Subscription.
To her. That's what I'm thinking. And here's her description. Once again, it's a bit long-winded. It's my pleasure and my honor to write poems, blah, blah, blah. A lot of unpaid invisible work. So basically she's saying, support this artist.
Yeah, that thing in Patreon are ways where if you know somebody, an artist of any kind, and you like their work, and you don't think they can make a living at it, you send them some money either one time or on a monthly basis if you're a big fan. And they just take it and
Why would
spend
you
it.
if you don't think they
Yeah.
can make any money?
So artists are doing that now, and she is. You can spend more than 5. You can give her 100, whatever. But it is a program. BuyMeACoffee.com. Yeah, I checked it out. I was curious.
I need some coffee.
Okay, so let's see if I've said everything I want to say about her. I think that's about it. I had that was all on my mind about Allison. She is a friend of mine I haven't seen her in a long time. Good friend of mine going back many years. Comments, questions? What do you think?
I see that she has her Facebook on the bottom. Like, should your newsletter content be the same as what you do on social media, or should they be separate messages?
Where her Facebook? Follow that. Oh, she wants people to follow her. Yeah, on Facebook. And what is your question?
So should your newsletter content be mimicked in your social media posts, or should they be different?
I don't think there's room in the Facebook for all this.
No.
Probably not gonna let you.
But should they mirror each other, or should they be totally unique and separate?
I don't know. I've never done it. What do you all think?
How much work do you want to do?
Yeah, okay, Sarah, she's our Facebook person for Go Country Writers. It sounds like a lot of work. I don't even do this. But that's a good idea if you want followers on Facebook. Steal that idea.
On
Let's see.
Facebook, you could just have like 2 sentences with a link to this, would be a way to get a subscriber maybe.
Oh, you mean the other direction?
Yeah, from the Facebook to this for more. Yeah, sort of sharing that. Yeah, right.
All right. Any other yes?
So that right-hand or left-hand column thing, that works fine on a computer screen, but a lot of younger people especially do their navigating on a cell phone, which is long and narrow, and I think that the layout like that is going to probably be a problem of it showing up on a cell phone screen.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm not crazy about the layout, the long and narrow. I don't like that. It makes it a little harder to read. It's not attractive to me. Just me. Anyone else? Okay, let's go on to the next one, and that is Kimberly. Kimberly, is Kimberly in the house? She was running late. She's going to be. Kimberly's here. Yay. So Kimberly is one of my writing friends. She's here, and this is her newsletter. She sends them out as needed. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, not on a monthly basis, but when she's got news, which is how I write, I do mine. I don't send my newsletter out monthly. I send it out when I have something to inform. And Kimberly certainly did. She produced in Nevada Theater on stage a staged production of her play. She wrote a whole musical play, unbelievable. And it had music and singing, and it just didn't have the scenery and costumes. So this is the newsletter about it. And notice how she's got her, the name of her play front and center, the date, the newsletter, very clear there. And here is her lovely graphic, fantastic graphic, and that's how she brands herself, not herself, that's how she brands her play. And she uses the same graphic for everything, including, this is the program. I went to the play, it was fantastic. Here's some little flyers, I had some big ones I put up in town. And in fact, she got a very decent showing second night. A very decent showing, so something's working. And Kimberly's, now she has a photograph of, these are the actors rehearsing. And then a little blurb, and she's got a call to action with a live link. Buy your tickets now. We want you to come. She's got all the information. She's got live links. She's also mentioning a great article in the Union. You can click on that and read about somebody covered this play in the Union. Support local theater. She's asking for a donation here. So I like this. It gives us an explanation. And then you have a GoFundMe Marion's Fire. lots of costs involved in producing a play, you can imagine. Here are her past, she also has something I haven't seen in anyone else's, past newsletters and website I have. But the past newsletters she's written, you can read her past ones if you want. There are live links to that. I would say this is a terrific newsletter. The one thing that I would critique would be two things. One is the photo. Yeah, I would put something a little more dynamic than that. A little more action in the photo, and a little bit brighter in the colors. The next thing would be when she says, "Buy your tickets now," I would put it somewhere. I would describe the play. Say, this is a play in the 1300s about the French Inquisition and the women who were healers during that time who stood up to them. It's a great play. So I would just put it like 2 sentences. Otherwise, I think it's pretty great. Okay, any comments on that? Sherry?
In comparison to the last one from the poet, which was just all text,
Yeah.
what Kimberly has done is break it up into paragraphs with a heading as you roll down through her text.
Right.
So that
Here's another
makes
one.
it easier to read and it's more attractive.
Yeah. Yes, so there's some nice formatting going on there. Anyone else? Yes.
On the Mary Inspire February, do you have a choice of text styles?
Oh, you know what, Kimberly? Why don't you answer that? Because this is Wix, by the way. This is not MailChimp. This is not Constant Contact. This is something called Wix.
Correct.
.com. Wixemail.com. It's called wixemail.com. So,
yeah, you definitely have choice of different fonts or whatever,
Yeah,
sizes. And there's some limitations in terms of layout. I wanted, this is actually my shortest email ever. And the reason I didn't give a description of the play is everybody who is on the newsletter list knows, I've probably had a personal conversation with them. They already know the play. This is not a random blast to I don't know who. I know everybody, and I have about 500 people on the list. So I don't know everybody well, but I've had at least one conversation with everybody. They know the play or know what it's about. But this was like right before the showing, so it was a last minute reminder, really. If you go to a different email, or
we don't have time. Kimberly, what do
Yeah.
you think of Wix?
I hate it and I need it. I find it extremely time consuming. It takes me at least 12 hours to do one. This one is the quickest, and it probably only took me 5 or 6 hours. But it's very time consuming. I often have to call Wix and say, I'm stuck, I can't make this happen, why? And then it takes them 2 hours to explain something that I think should take 5 minutes. So,
Wow.
yeah, you can call them pretty much 24/7. It was recommended to me because I was told it's good for people who are in creative arts. I don't know that that's any better than MailChimp or anything else.
Let me just add that Constant Contact, you can call them, get a tech support person, and they are fantastic. And have been for all these many years I've used them. Excellent in that area. Okay, and then very quickly we're going to take a look at mine. Let's see. Heck, where was the latest one? Did I lose mine? These are old ones. Maybe we won't.
Just go to your, oh no.
Let's see. Okay. All right. Yeah, so this is, unfortunately, the latest one that I sent out, it's probably in my inbox, and I'm not going to bother going looking for it. And on this one, I forgot to put my book cover image on there. So I just want to show you how you can do it really easily. It takes me half an hour, not 5 or 6, to do this. And basically, I've got it to all these people here. with the BCC. So there are pros and cons. One is it's just super easy to do an email blast to everybody. What you're going to do is the most difficult thing about it, because everyone can write an email, and everyone knows how to put an image into the body of their emails, I believe. It's not. No, oops, I'm here seeing some heads going, no. But you can learn. It's not that hard. However, the more complicated thing is setting up your contact group. So I'll show you briefly how to set up your contact group. You need to go to your contacts, and I open up another window for that, and I get into Google. This is if you have Gmail. I apologize if you are a Yahoo account person or a Hotmail or AOL, whatever's left. Sorry. But they all, actually, let me just add that all of those have the capability of Gmail. They just have it laid out differently. Different names, like instead of label says archive or something. Here's my contacts right up here on this. I don't know if anyone's ever gone to this. I'm sure some of you had these 9 little dots up here, and you have all these various functions. You can move them, by the way. And I put translate up here. It's important to me. And contacts is really important. So you click on your contacts. And there we are. Now, over here on the left, I have labels. Those are the groups that I'm going to send you to. Reader's Delight is what I named my e-newsletter. It was Read and Review, but Kelly's book club is Read and Review, so I better change it. So I have Reader's Delight and a couple of other, here's my writers group that Kimberly and Phillips is in. So what we'll do is you'll simply create a contact to add into. First you have to add a label, so you just click plus. You name the label, you save. I mean, it's as easy as it can be. Then you've got it, and it lines up right over here. You'll find it alphabetized. Then if you want to add someone, I'm going to add a contact to my newsletter. So I'm going to create a contact, and that will be, all right, somebody volunteer. Okay, Kelly. Okay, so I'm going to put your first name, your last name, Schliff, and your email address. That's basically all you need to know. And can you give me your email address?
LRDNR01@gmail.
Okay. And then I'm going to save it. Now I have a new person in my contact list. I think you're already in there, but that's okay. Just for demonstration purposes, and you can merge them, by the way. So over here is the label. See, if you can't see, it says plus label. It means add a label. So I'm going to add Kelly to an already created group, which is the Reader's Delight. So I just select Reader's Delight, and then I click Apply. And that's it. She's now both in my contact list and she's in that Reader's. I could put Kelly in all my groups, so it's flexible that way. Okay. Alrighty. So then all you do is go back to your email, and when you compose, you open it up, you type in, and this is where I make a mistake. I have had complaints. Why are you showing us everybody's email? I'm going, you need to put it in BCC. I forget to do that sometimes. That's what's great about having Constant Contact or MailChimp, is that will never happen. So you have to click on BCC, Blind Carbon Copy, Reader's Delight, popped up, click on that. I see them, but you won't. So here is, I'm ready to roll. So I'm ready to roll. I just type whatever I want, send it out, put images in, and it's done. So there is a simplicity to this that's good, and there are some negatives as well, like forgetting to make it a BCC, you don't get information back, you don't know how many people read it. However, every time I send one, I always inevitably get some responses, and I put them in Reader's Delight responses. And this last time, I got a lot of responses. See all these? These are all February 12th, these are all when I sent it. Some very nice comments on it. It was lovely to get, and so you will too. And that's what makes doing the group email such a pleasure, is when you hear back from people. I mean, I heard back from Kathy Kogan, who last time I saw her we were 17. And she lives on the East Coast. Yeah, and she was just so supportive and excited about my work. And yeah, okay. So, I don't want to hear your opinions of my little newsletter. It's just keep them to yourself. Talk amongst yourselves. Now, a couple of people. Let me just add that there were a few people I've talked to about sending a group email like this with I have 173 or 4 people on here. They were blocked. Google thought they were phishing or spamming or whatever the correct terminology is. And they couldn't get it through. I have never had that problem. And I've been doing this newsletter for several years. Well, a year and a half. So you've had that problem?
They've tightened down their rules just recently.
They've tightened them down. And I don't really know why it is, but it could be that they aren't sending it via a label. That they're just adding lots and lots of email addresses to the to list. And the fact that I have all of these bundled up into a label, it goes under their radar, or that's okay or something. But I don't have that problem. Okay, so next we're going to go on to why write a newsletter. Why write one? I think, we formulated in our heads already. We've seen some examples. We've talked about constant contact. Get in touch with your readers. Sell your book, for goodness sakes. Pre-sales. Let people know there's a book coming. I did on mine, which I don't know where it is. It's in my inbox. It's in my sent list. Oh, it's my sent. That's what it is. And you let them know what's going on. I did a lecture. I had a podcast. You put that link in there. So inform your readers what's going on in your life pertaining to your work, pertaining to your media coverage. That's one thing you can do. Making sales, of course, is important. Stay in touch with them, get feedback about the book. Encourage them to write a review on Amazon.com. That's a tough one. If you're selling your books on Amazon, which most of us are, it's really hard to get sales on Amazon. It really is. And more reviews you get, the more your attention your book will attract. But getting people to write a review is like pulling the teeth, the proverbial tooth pulling. So it's not that people don't want to, but they kind of put it at the bottom of their to-do list and don't get to it. So this is a way to remind them, hey, write a review.
Lisa, tell exactly how you write a review on someone's book. Like you go through their book and it actually says it there or something?
How to write a review on Amazon?
Yeah.
Why don't I do my next presentation? I'll talk about that. Because that's if I have look. If there's spare time at the end, we'll go on there right now. I'll show you. I'll set up. I'll show you exactly how to do it. But it's not hard. Remind people that you can buy their book as a gift if they've already bought it themselves. For Aunt Martha, or for Valentine, or for Christmas, or something. You can also broadcast special offers, like buy my novel and you'll get my memoir for free. I might be doing that. It might happen. Or my book's going on sale. You can get for half price. Include a live link so they can click right through. Handy dandy. Or a free ebook. If you buy a print one. If you buy a paperback, you can get a free e-one. All right, so that's why. And you want to match up your reasons with your email. Stay on track, be on purpose with it. Any other ideas why you would do this?
I sort of think
Fair.
of newsletter or your page as being your little spot on the front counter of a bookstore. And it's and you have a much better audience, a much bigger audience.
So the audience, you're targeting an audience. That's very effective. Betsy?
How does this compare, I know apples and oranges or whatever, but with Facebook, in terms of getting that front counter space? Do you think you are actually contacting more folks than do that particular social media or another particular social medium?
I'm going to answer that for me personally, because that's how you have to answer that kind of a question. For me, no. I have a very small Facebook following, and I have lots of people on here. And I add, and I continue to add. I am not wild about Facebook. Some people are. I'm on it now and then. If you have a big following, definitely, do a whole Facebook. I am going to, I don't know how, I have a friend who's going to coach me on the phone how to do a Facebook offering of my book on Facebook. Yes.
Can I speak to that? I think it goes the other direction. I think your Facebook is this broad, wide, thin layer, and then every now and again you lure those people to your newsletter, and that's your deep, thick pond. And I think it goes that direction, not the other.
Good point, good point. Anybody else before we move on? Yes.
Yeah, I kind of do it similarly, but I have a blog. And in the blog that I use, which I'm in the process of changing over, but the blog is in Weebly, and there's a feature that you can push it out to Facebook.
Right.
So I get in Facebook 2-3 times a year, but I have 1,900 followers.
Wow.
But they're following my blog. And half of them I don't know. Somebody forwarded my blog to someone in the military, so I've got like 1,000 men that I have no idea who they are, but they're all from all over the world.
Can guys do that for women?
They're following my blog. Okay. So I work on my blog. I almost never go into Facebook, and it automatically pushes it out. I don't need to go into Facebook to post it. It just goes out there, and it posts the first picture in my blog, whatever that first photograph is, and like the first 2 sentences, and then a link to Weebly to take you to my blog. So, I don't know if there's a feature of this to push it out to Facebook, but I'm not sure you'd want to do that with a newsletter.
However, and Libby brings up a good point, if you are blogging, and blogging's not a bad idea, you can attract people. Now, how it translates into sales, a whole other story.
Yeah.
You just don't know unless you are an expert marketing person and know how to track it or hire somebody to track it. But blogging is a good thing, and in fact, you can link, you can put a live link to your blog on your newsletter and send them to the blog as well.
Lisa?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
I
Kimberly.
think building on the last 2 comments, I think it really is a newsletter people have to sign up for. And they actually do track, if you sign people up who don't want to be signed up, which is partly why I've talked to everybody, you can get kicked off the program because they consider it spam if they get too many complaints. So you want to make sure that people want to be on it, but people can't follow a newsletter. They can follow a blog, and they can follow you on a website. So you have to have something else that they can go to, not just your newsletter. That's a subscription, if that makes sense.
Yes, it is a subscription unless you're doing like I am, just as a group email, in which case...
And it's one direction, it's
Yeah.
you sending it out.
Right. And MailChimp and Constant Contact have an unsubscribe function at the bottom. So if somebody doesn't want to be on your list, they can just hit unsubscribe, boom, it's done. They don't have to talk to you or email you. Me, they have to email me, so I want to be on your list. One person in the past year and a half said, please take me off. But nobody else? Okay, very good. Now we're going to segue into, perfect segue. We're going to segue into building your subscriber or email list. My voice is okay. So I'm going to tell you how I built my list. I entered in all of my friends and family and associates. I did not ask their permission. I just mail list. And I went, what the heck? Now that might be a little reckless, but that's how I did it. I went through a huge box of business cards. Does anybody here have that huge box of business cards? Just, I mean, it was overflowing. It was just a big mess, actually, at that point. And I staked out some time, and I went through all of the business cards. Some of them were out of business, they had retired, whatnot. They were far away. I didn't know, what is this? Boing. But there were some of them that were valuable information. They went on the list. One of the emails I got from someone in a restaurant, one of the business cards I got from someone in a casual chat in a restaurant with somebody who was an author, and we talked about our books. And he gave me his card, and I stuck it in there. And when I came to it, I went, oh yeah, this guy. And I emailed him. I said, hi Randy, you remember me? We met at a restaurant, talked about our books, what's going on? Are you writing? Would you like to be a part of our writing group? And he answered me, and he's now in our writing group in Gold Country Writers and Writers Resource as well. So that worked out super. So that's a suggestion for how to build and you can call these business card people. They have their phone number. Would you like to be on my list and get their permission? And I have asked people when I've sold my books at events, I've said, would you like to be, I have a sign-up. That's, by the way, that's another way to do it. Do not forget your sign-up sheet with the name and email address. You don't need any other information, just their name and their email. And ask them, would you like to be on my newsletter? Most people, I can't remember hearing someone say, no, I don't want to get your newsletter. Everyone has said, yes, sure. And I usually tell them, I don't send it often and it's brief, and they like that. So book festivals, launch parties, we're having lots of book launch parties in this organization. This is a place for you to acquire, to collect email addresses when people buy your book, even if they don't buy your book. I've had people that, say, well, I don't know, I've already bought my Maximum books, and I hand them my bookmark that has my website on it, and my website has my contact information, and I say, well, get in touch with me if you want to buy the book. But you could do you could do a bookmark that has not just your website on it, but has your phone number or some other way to contact you. Your email address would be good. So you can gather them that way. You could have your own booth. There's the Cal State Fair that has an author booth. I collected quite a few addresses there, and no one put them on there. I asked them, they said sure. If you have a website, do you all have websites? If you have a website, you can create a sign-up page on your website. I don't know how to do it. I would probably pay a tech person to put that on there. And they just sign up, and then boom, it goes to your subscriptions, and you have it that way. Another very popular thing to do lately is to put the information on the back of your book. If you're a published author now, you have a book, you have a paperback book or a hardbound book, on the back of it, put your website address, and on the website is the landing page. And you can tell people when you sell the book to them, if they don't want to sign up now, say, maybe you'll change your mind, sign up later, here's my website. We have a resource called bookfunnel.com. Bookfunnel.com will help you offer free books and chapters, free ebooks if you want to, free audiobook on your website or in your newsletter to attract. It's called a lead magnet. It attracts them, and then maybe it will attract more other people. Okay, so now I'm going to open it up. Anyone else have a good idea how to gather email addresses? Kelly.
I'll wait.
Jill, that has nothing to do with that. I thought you were opening it up to.
No, I'm opening it
questions.
up, right now I'm opening it up just to
Oh, wait.
building an email list. Has anyone got some good ideas to share? Okay, it's a tough one.
Do you ever do advertising, like ads on Facebook or ads on Amazon, or is that just a little too pricey?
It's expensive. I had a publishing assistant and she wanted to market the book, and I said, okay, we'll try it, and it ended up being quite expensive. She charged a lot to market me, and she marketed me on Amazon, and I did not see any sales, so I stopped her. I mean, you have to look and see if it's working. Sherry?
You spoke at a museum in Arkansas, I believe, at one time. Did you pick up names from that area?
I didn't. I did not speak. That was last year. I was going to go to my novel. Sherry's referring to my novel. Takes place in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and they have a spring event, and they have author booths and presentations and everything, and they wanted me to come because people in Hot Springs love to read a book that's set in Hot Springs. But I couldn't make it because there was a wedding, a family wedding in the middle of all that, and I just couldn't make it. But that would be a good way. Another year I might go and sell my books there. And that, by the way, if you have a particular location, a real location, that's not, even around here, you can sell it as, hey, this is a place that you guys live. Michelle Hamilton, she sets a lot of her books in, she's the organizer for the California State Fair Authors Booth. She has 69 books or 70 books published, and she has a series that's set in San Francisco, mystery thriller, detective. A lot of fun to read, and she could sell them, she could sell them on Alcatraz Island. Okay, we're going to go on to the last section here, which is what to put in your newsletter. So we've already looked at some newsletters and thought about it. And basically, is book sales, pre-book sales. So pre-sales means your book is coming out. It hasn't been published yet. Maybe it has been, but no, it's right before it's published. So then you let people know that it's coming out, and your sales will go up. You'll have much more sales that way if you let people know ahead of time. What else are we going to put in our newsletter? Workshops we're offering, workshops we're presenting at, links to podcasts. On my website, I have a YouTube video of me giving a presentation on my research and a podcast link with somebody about my book. She interviewed me about my book, and so you can put the links to that on your newsletter. Or actually, what I do is I put the link to my website. They can go to my website and click on all of that. What else can we put in our newsletters? History that pertains to your book. Awards and prizes that you've won.
Kudos for fellow writers.
Oh, kudos for fellow writers. What else?
I have a friend, she started putting what I'm reading now. And I thought that was really interesting insight because it very personalized the whole thing.
Yeah, nice. What I'm reading now. I might do that. Steal that idea. Another thing that you can put is, and Patricia Bracewell did that in one of her newsletters, which if we have time I can open it for you if you're interested. But she said, I'm writing a new book. I can't, this is the title, or maybe this title. Could anyone give me ideas for a title? So she actually opened up to her newsletter readers the possibility that they could help her name her book. I thought that was very clever.
Frank shares his illustrations, his little doodles.
Frank shares his
like crazy.
pictures.
They're funny too.
Yeah. That's a great idea. That will always, images and drawings, that will always punch up your newsletter.
Snippets from your book or snippets from other writing that you do?
Snippets, excerpts. For example, Allison, but she doesn't do a snippet. She throws the whole poem at me.
One thing I do, and it's a play, so I have a cast, and I would highlight one or two people each newsletter about their life or their role. If it's a book, it's a little different, but if you have team members, people helping you, then you can highlight what they do, or even a character from your novel. Something where you're highlighting something that's fun and interesting and short.
Sounds great. Anyone else? Yes.
Relevant quotes for the day or?
Oh, for the day. Yes, thought for the day or quote for the day. That's a great idea. I love that. Okay. So how about anything else besides, and so, yeah, that's about it. Oh, yes, Libby.
I get a newsletter, she has quite a following, but I get a newsletter that, for the people that open it, and I don't know how she can tell, maybe she has metrics that tell who opened the newsletter, and she draws the names out of a hat, and every month somebody gets sent a Starbucks card.
Very nice.
Basically a $5 card for a cup of coffee.
Yes. Okay. It's going the other way.
Yeah.
Instead of buy me a coffee, I'll buy you a coffee. Okay, nice. All right. Okay. So, what not to put in your newsletter? What do you think you better not put in your newsletter? What's not a good idea?
Personal rants?
Personal rants, yeah. Don't complain.
My kid made the principal's list.
Yeah, okay, so on the other end, Sarah says, don't brag about your personal life. Actually, your personal life, don't bring it in unless it pertains directly to the work you're doing. Like if you're writing a memoir, you might see something about that in regard to it, but really keep it on the straight and narrow there. And Allison Luderman, the poet, and she goes all over the place with her personal life. And actually, I find it kind of amusing. It's just too long. How about political and religious views?
Yeah.
I would say only if there is I would say don't do it unless it pertains to your work. Then do it. If it pertains to your work, do it. If it doesn't, don't do it.
One comment on that, I'm hoping to have a wider, because I write religious stuff, but I'm hoping that it has a wider spiritual umbrella that doesn't assume that people do church stuff or do religious stuff, because there are so many more people than just a certain brand of religion. It is.
Yes, that is true. Yes. And I would say also control your content. As you've seen, some people just kind of go on and on and on, and it gets too long. It may be great content, but you're going to assure yourselves of a reader engaged if it's briefer. How about prices? Put the price. I never see a price. Until you get on Amazon and you start buying it, I never see prices. What do you think about putting the price of your book on into your newsletter?
If it's free.
Oh, it's free? Okay.
If it's on sale for a limited time, you have to click now.
Yeah.
3 left.
Okay, so sale price, a sale price would be good, although they can't compare it to the full price.
Price might discourage you from going to Amazon if you ran out of time.
Yeah,
$48.
yes. I bring it up not with answers, but with a question. Like, would it be a good idea? Because there are sometimes when I'm on a website and I'm really interested in, or I'm in somebody's email, I really am interested in purchasing something, and I don't know what it costs, and I feel like it would motivate me if I knew, and sometimes not. So I'd say most people do not put prices on there in the media. It's only when you're at the point of purchase that has become kind of the standard.
It locks you in, too.
Right. Yes. If you want to lower your book price, then, that you've got it on an email, someone might say, but look, you had it for this price. Well, Sherry.
That's sort of a do or don't for the for the people here, what do you think about a title for your newsletter? Ours is called The Dispatch, but none of the others up there had like a title, like Sherry's Chatter.
Well, mine has a title, Reader's Delight. But yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, give your newsletter a title. That's an attractive feature. Thanks, Sherry. Okay, so we're at 11:35. It looks like. Am I correct? And so I do need to wrap this up. Thank you for your patience and your attention. I know this has been a lot, I think. So we could stop here, or I could show you how to do a PDF file. If you're interested in Constant Contact, Kelly.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I've been told, as far as doing a review on Amazon, you have to be an Amazon customer. Is that true? Does that mean you have purchased the book?
Yes.
It is correct. It is
So you
correct.
can't just go on and do a review?
No, you have to be a customer, but you don't have to buy the book on Amazon.
But you have to have purchased $50 worth in the last 3 months.
Oh, okay, right. I remember that vaguely. Yes.
And then one thing that I did that I thought worked well for my book club, rather than sell them one of my books or I bought Amazon gift cards and said, please buy my book.
That's awesome, Kelly.
Because then you've got a sale.
Amazon gift cards, folks. Great idea from Kelly Lardner,
Did you
our
have to
book club
follow the
leader.
reviews to see if that actually worked? Or did a bunch of people buy pants? Not buy
Well, you give it to people you trust, like my book club. I'm not going to just
There you
hand
go.
them out.
Yes, so Kelly handed those gift cards out to her book club members, so you might want to think
Or
about
a
that.
family member or
Right, to a
somebody
group
you
that you know. Otherwise, yeah, they'll go out and they'll buy, a barbecue chicken or something instead of your book. Okay, I think I'm just going to wrap this up now.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right, so